Sleeping is not allowed. Okay. Turn you
Keep it on, baby.
Yeah.
On, check. Okay, there we
One,
go.
two,
One more
two.
thing. Let me play our startup music here. I'm gonna.
Got 2 minutes, people. 2 minutes.
Is the soundboard on? Yeah. I don't hear it. It's been on.
Bum. Yeah, baby. What's up? Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention, please? Welcome to the Crypto Dinner number 24, November 2021. You turn the music up now. Now, if we have, where's Vadim? Vadim, you're in charge at the back of the room. Ladies and gentlemen, there's good news and there's bad news. Who wants the good news? Okay, who wants the bad news? Everybody wants the bad news. It's not about Bitcoin, don't worry. However, the bad news is there's like 120-ish people. And the bad news is that's really hard to manage if we're having 1,000 conversations. But the good news is there's 120 people. That's awesome. So the reason I say this is because the people at the front naturally pay the most attention because they're at the front. And then there's like a wave as it moves back here. And the speakers last week had music. So we have worked really hard. Can you hear music? There's no music to try and make your experience a little better. However, when there's like 50 conversations, is it easier or harder for everyone? By the way, this is an interactive social. It requires only a small bit of participation. I'll try and ask less rhetorical questions, but you get my point. So if someone's loud and they're talking too much, just give them a bit of a tap and say, I love you, but I'd really want to listen. Because one of the first topics we're here to talk about is bots. And I would love to know, it's such a cheesy question, but who would like to make a little bit more money without having to work too hard to do it? Yeah, a little bit. I thought so. But before as ever, there's a lot of faces here that we don't recognize. So for the record, my name is Daniel.
Chris.
This is Chris at the back. And we have been doing these since January. We started them off just so that we could sit with some friends and discuss crypto. And they've grown a little bit, which is good and has some teething problems. So I'm just curious, who's never been to one of these socials and our events before? Raise your hand for me. Awesome. Okay. And who has definitely been to at least one before? Okay. And who doesn't know?
Check.
A couple of people. Too much alcohol involved. So these are, sometimes we have panelists. Sometimes we don't. Tonight we don't. So we have a facilitation here. So we're going to discuss some things, but this isn't about what I know. This is not about me speaking. This is about you guys, which means that you get to speak. Now, I know that might be like this, but I promise you we'll all loosen up a little bit, because in this room, there's a sliding scale of people that have been doing this for a long time, and some people are new. Any people that are new? Come on. Don't be shy. Awesome. Any people that would say that they've been here for a while, they know a bit, they don't know everything, but they're doing okay. All right. So those people with their hands up the second time, I encourage you to help and to share. Like you don't have to share everything, but within inside all of you is tons of news and information and views. And all the people here that don't have that information, we all get to learn. So we're going to be here for 90 minutes. We've got 2 parts to the evening. We've got a bit of a talk about what we can do to be better. And then the second part, if we have time, we're going to cover some news, different points like that. But first, our first big topic we're going to be discussing is about bots. So first person to share is always the hardest. Just 1 second.
Let's go over the tipping, the tagging.
First, we have some housekeeping. If there's a fire, the emergency exit is at the back.
Can you guys hear me?
If you can't make it over the exit, you can climb over the walls. But Chris has something he wants to share.
So just to go over a couple of things, you can tag us up on Instagram. We're also a location at Crypto Del Carmen. And no harvesting for any multi-level marketing groups tonight. Please don't do that. We have a better live connection. We're tethering and we're taking video and audio locally. We're going to start distribution in the podcast form on Libsyn, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all the outlets. We have the Discord up. Thank you, Jimmy, for working that. All the channels for all the subjects that you need over there. And so we got general discussion, OTC, peer-to-peer, trading, NFTs, promote your projects. I'll be walking around with a camera a little. Tips.
Tips. We're a crypto community, and for at least 2 months, we have had a QR code with the acceptance of every form of cryptocurrency you can imagine. We've had nil. And we put these things on from the good of our heart. And so many people have said, hey, I'd pay you, but I want to pay you in cash, which I don't really get as a crypto community unless you're all so stingy, you want to hodl it. And we'd rather hold on to the coin. We're like, here, have some of this paper shit that's going to be gone soon. So somebody, Melanie, went and bought us a tip jar. So I'm going to give Melanie a round of applause. I don't think she's here, but thank you very much, Melanie. So at the towards the end, we're going to pass that around. And if you have found value, we appreciate all currencies and denominations. It helps us buy all of this sick kit, which didn't cost us, wasn't free.
But it's also going out externally. We're
not
going to keep it. Any of the donations or profits are going outward.
Towards?
Towards
the charities. Oh, executive decision. All monies raised from all of these events are going to go towards the charities that we're working with here in Playa del Carmen. We haven't started speaking about that yet, but that's all the money that we raised tonight is going to go towards them. Okay, so without further ado, we're going to start talking about bots. Who does not know what a bot is? 1, 2. Okay, keep your hands down. Who would like to explain in 30 words or less what is a bot in relation to cryptocurrency? Somebody wants to speak. Otherwise, I'm going to do all the speaking, and that's not fun. Where's the mic, Vadim? Hold it up. Vadim has a mic. All right. Can everyone say hi, Vadim? Hi, Vadim. Okay. Who wants to explain what a cryptocurrency bot is? Come on, guys. We got a hand. What's your name, sir? Benjamin. Say, everyone, give Benjamin a round of applause.
1-1. All right. So I'll do my best trying to.
Wait.
Yeah, it's better. Like this. Boom. All right.
Good.
So bots are like microtransaction made in the market to be profitable. So it's systematic trading through computers to be able to get money out, extract money out of the market. That's how I would say.
It's a computer system designed to help to extract money out the market. Yeah.
Yeah, by microtransaction can be dozens, hundreds by the seconds.
Okay.
Yeah.
Microtransactions. Thank you very much, Benjamin. Thank you. Does anybody think that it doesn't have to be microtransactions? Yeah. Just raise your hand. I'm not going to pick on you. So it doesn't have to be microtransactions, but it is a system, maybe with some intelligence, designed to extract money out the market. Who we got? What's your name? Thomas.
A bot, crypto bot, does the trading for you. This is actually what happens. I'm not into crypto bots, if somebody asks, but I probably know what it is, and I think they take also a little fee. So it doesn't have to be profitable all the time because nothing is guaranteed.
Correct.
That's what I think. So for some people, this would be lucrative, and for some people, probably not. It's depending on your individual interest, if this is something for you or not.
Awesome. What was your name again?
Thomas.
Thomas. And that's exactly why we're discussing it, because whether you like bots or not, it's like NFTs. They're here to stay. So it's better for us to understand it a little bit than not. Thank you very much, Thomas. So if let's have a see. Whether you use bots or not, you can shout this out, because there's people here that I get so many requests to ask about bots and all sorts of things. So let's just start throwing it into the mix. And you're right, nothing is guaranteed. Death, change. I'm going to challenge taxes, but I understand the context, yeah? Taxes are always guaranteed. Your involvement in them is unique. So whether you use bots or not, shout out some bot names. Anyone?
Royal Q.
You have to actually pass a mic over there. I realize I can't hear him.
Well, I know Pangea, Royal Q, the one from KuCoin.
The one from KuCoin, yeah. So KuCoin's an exchange. So I'm going to group all bots into kind of categories. So we have exchange bots. So like Binance runs bots, KuCoin runs bots, Kraken has, I think Kraken has bots. What are the different ways, though, that bots can work? Arbitrage, scalping, long-term trades, short-term trades, high-frequency trades. That probably covers a lot. Can we give the guy with the blue shirt a mic? Don't worry. I just want to know what's scalping. Arbitrage, sorry.
Hi, Eric from Canada. There's discrepancies between exchanges a lot of times, and sometimes an exchange, say Coinbase and Kraken, have different prices. You'll have one bot that realizes like, oh, I could maybe make a little bit of a change on the discrepancies and trade those little discrepancies.
So it's like buying Bitcoin over here for 61.
Yeah, buy Bitcoin.
And Bitcoin on this exchange is 62.
And they make the difference.
Buy it, move it, pocket the difference.
Yep.
Question for you. Does arbitrage also include if I go from Bitcoin to Ethereum to Cardano back to Bitcoin? Is that still considered arbitrage, or is that a different word? Genuine question.
I would guess a different thing.
Different thing? Okay. Well, whatever that different thing is, you also have bots that do that.
Mm-hmm.
So these bots are calculating things faster than most humans can, and they're looking at the price difference. Like right now, we got pesos in our pocket. There's a guy here last time that explained to me how he takes pesos, goes to certain places, exchanges them for dollars, and then can take them somewhere else and change them back in a different country back into pesos, or it was the other way around, and can make 5 to 10%. So it's exactly the same in the crypto market. So we have bots that can do that, and they're looking at these differeces. So what sort of some other names, if you are a person that's writing through things down, we have Poloniex. Poloniex. No, that's an exchange. That's what I get confused with. I'm just gonna get these right. Pionex. Pionex. So Pionex is it's a scalping bot. Anybody want to explain scalping? That's a really interesting question, isn't it? Scalping. Scalping is the as things trade sideways, and we're just creaming from the top. So we're looking at high frequency trades, lots of them, just taking a little bit off the top. So anyone a trader that would agree that's a simple enough definition? Okay, you got a question? You got a mic?
Yeah, I have.
Here, take this one. Oh, you got it.
Will you ask a question?
Oh, in terms of trust?
Yeah.
Hey, so
What's your name, man?
my name's Greg.
Grant.
Yeah,
Nice to meet you, Grant.
pleasure. So my main question with all of this, because when I see it, I come from a more institutional.
Just keep that mic near your mouth.
Okay.
There you go, bro.
I come from a more institutional background, and so trust within institutions is, with traditional finance, is super important. So how do you find a bot that you can trust that does what they say they're going to do, particularly when everyone in New York is trying to figure out the algos and the AI to do the exact same thing?
Really good question. You're basically saying, how do you trust a piece of tech to do what it's meant to do? Well, what's one of the, let's have a see. In the absence of doing due diligence, what's one of the time-old best serves way of checking if something is doing its job right? A contest. Backtest. Okay, you could backtest it, true, but then you're going to need to know your shit. You're going to need to get all the data sets and actually backtest it. But completely, that's like data-wise, it says it did all these trades. Well, let's take all the trades, look at the historic chart. Did it work? In my opinion, there's a simpler way. It's not 100%, but we're sat in it right now. Consensus. What does 120 people in a room tell you generically? That something's happening that people are interested in. Otherwise, there'd be 5 people in the room. So some of the communities that I'm in from a bot's perspective that I'll observe for like 3 months, if 80 to 90% of the people in that group are achieving results and success, and with the occasional things that aren't working, generically speaking, I could turn around and say that there must be something in that. That if it was really not working, I'd see an exponentially large increase in people saying this is shit. Yeah, keep going, don't worry if you've got questions.
Well, then it comes down to a question of time, right? Because anything can work for 3 months and then you get a rug pull. So how do you tell who you're working for is going to be there potentially for the long term and aren't just riding the wave of Ethereum from 2,800 at the beginning of the year to now, what are we at, 5K?
Yeah. So then we've got to look at different. You got a question, Jimmy? Oh, you want to answer it? Here. Jimmy wants to answer it. Sawe. Cheers, Sawe.
I feel like I can add in some value because I worked for Morgan Stanley for more than 10 years. So crypto space for institutions still very early. The crypto Morgan Stanley, they just started a trading desk, just like any other kind of. Hey, this gentleman over there, I'm talking to you. So I worked for Morgan Stanley for more than 10 years, and I was a part of teams who programmed the high frequency trading bots. So when it comes to crypto, it's still very early. How institutions do business is very different from how you and I do business, right? So it's B2B instead of B2C. And they focus a lot on compliance. And in the crypto space right now, there's a word that goes around. It's called ESG, right? So you have to meet those kind of benchmarks. So when it comes to crypto bot for institutions, very, very early. I feel when their trading desk is happening in around November, December timeframe, they will start this programming phase. And then they will start thinking about how to meet compliance, how to do auditing, and things like that. When it comes to institutions, that's my take on it. Still very early. There's no solid answer for that. So just wait and see.
Cool. Cheers, Jimmy. Let's keep on that. Anyone else want to give their 2 pence before I throw mine in as well? Because it's a really good question. How do you trust anything, though? Yeah, like, I mean, we are in crypto, but there's a big difference between, I cut any of these platforms in half. Backtest. Fucking backtest the shit out of that. So on the one side, on something like Pionex, you have to put your money in Pionex. So now, is it Mark? Your name? Grant, of course it is. Grant. When I have to put my money in a platform, I need to vouch for that platform. Like I need to, who's in charge of it, rug pulls, all of these questions. But then when you have an API connected bot, so I work with one called Zort, Z-O-R-T. I'm doing no referrals on this whatsoever. I'm genuinely sharing certain information, yeah? All the money for Zort is in Coinbase. So Coinbase Pro. So my only question is, do I trust Coinbase Pro? Now, I might not like Coinbase Pro, but in terms of the exchanges I'm least concerned of rug pulls and hacked is an IPO'd American exchange. So the money sits in Coinbase. Zort's over here. Zort is a 6. Anyone that's in AI, correct me. It's a 6 array dimensional field to be able that learned 2,000 years of trading in 2 weeks because of its arrays. That's about all of my AI knowledge, right? Zort's done 450 trades in total, lost 6, average is 15% return a month. My money's in Coinbase. Every successful trade, it charges 0.075%. And so I sit back and I look at that and I have one question. What's the downside? So me and a small team, we started looking at it. We're like, what's the downside? Like, okay, well, where's the money? Where's the money, Lebowski? Where's the money? Do I trust it? Yeah. It only trades BTC and ETH. So the idea that it might suddenly buy all my money in SHIB because it's been hacked and then someone else gains from that, I'm fairly confident with BTC and ETH. We're trading a tiny amount of the portfolio. The rule within Zort, 3 failed trades and Zort stops. So that means with a stop loss of a few percent, the most I can lose is 3 failed trades, which on a portfolio is nothing when you've got a tight stop loss. So to answer that question like that, that's not, they do offer institutional solutions, but the point is that in that instance, when I'm looking at risk, I have a lot less questions than this one over here. However, this only trades in a bull market. What happens when we're, and sideways-ish, but when we're in a bear market, you're screwed. Scalping, arbitrage, these things are working 24/7. So we got a question here, Vadim. Nacho's got a question. I'm just sharing, by the way, different ways of thinking about bots. I don't care whether you like them or not.
Daniel, I think we have
Sure.
a problem here because I hear people don't understand what the bot is like in general. We spoke some smart words, but it's
Okay,
like
so we need
explain
to
it
go
in a
back.
very simple words what the bot trading is.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Give me a second. So. Oh, hang on. No, Nacho, if you answer it, yeah, with all due respect, your answers are usually pretty.
It's simple. It's just like it's computer code that's like automatically trading for you. So you program like a Roomba, right? To vacuum. This thing is doing the same thing. It's automatically performing actions for you, but it's trading. So it's like the simplest trading bot you can imagine. Stuff goes up 50% and then you sell it. Stuff goes 50 down 50% and you buy it, right? And all this thing does is it's like pinging and checking the price every like 10 seconds. And when this happens, it follows this command. So that's what a trading bot is. But, you know, when you're talking about some of the strategies you were talking about before, it's a lot more complicated than just playing.
There's different strategies, but it's doing the same thing. Vadim, can you find the people that were really struggling? I'd love if someone can be our muse this evening for who we can find out if they understand things better.
I just wanted to add one thing to what you said, though, before. Is like you got to be aware, though, that what you described is not no risk.
I never said it was no risk.
If you're giving your API key to a bot, that bot has the permission to do anything you like with your money, right? And there was one that went down in 2018 that had quite a significant amount of people that were using it. And they couldn't steal the money because unless you give them the API keys to withdraw, they can't withdraw your money. But how they did it was this, right? Is they used everyone's money to buy like some obscure shitcoin that they accumulated right at the bottom. So they had all of it. And they used everyone's money to buy it and pump the price up. And then they sold everyone's stake into their trade. So they got the Bitcoin or dollars or Ethereum, whatever, trading back out of it. So you can have things like that where if you're smart, if you're giving away your API keys, there's strategies like that even if you haven't given them the right to take your money, they can use like smart ways of that to actually steal your cash. So
that's a really, really good point. And that's one of the things why and I'm only referring to this one here because I've spoke about it, because it doesn't mitigate that point, but because we're on Coinbase, we have a massively reduced list, and to get in at the bottom is hard because by the time it's on Coinbase, it's already pumped. But it doesn't stop that mitigation. If you're going to give, so first of all, like, does anyone still not understand what a bot is? It automates trading. That's it. And there's a million ways to trade, but a bot does it automatically for you. If anybody want further explanation than that at this stage? Be honest. You want more explanation?
No. You said something about Zort. You said that Zort.
So it's just one brand.
It only works in a bull market. Why is that? Do you know anything? I mean, it's kind of an off topic.
Before we answer that, I just want to make sure people are good. No, it doesn't quite work like that.
We have
anybody not
question
understand?
here.
Go on. Yep.
Can I will go to you first.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm so new to this, right? I really appreciate y'all's patience with me as I'm kind of learning, right? But what I want to know is, thanks. What is the reason someone wouldn't want to use it? Like there's I guess people who really love it and it really works for them, and then there's people it doesn't. What are the reasons that people have that don't work?
Good question. Let's have a see. We have one. Nacho just gave us one risk. Doesn't mean he wouldn't use it, but that's a genuine risk. Anybody here would never use a bot? Do you mind you sharing? What's your name?
Marcia.
Marcia. Hi, Marcia.
Yeah. Hi. The learning curve is way too steep.
The what, sorry?
The learning curve to use a bot.
The learning curve.
Yeah, you have to.
Can I challenge you?
Yeah.
Is that an assumption?
When I've used, that's what I thought it was.
What if I showed you a bot where you go on? I am being pedantic, but I'm being serious.
Sure, that would help some users, I suppose, but that you would be taking over control from the user.
You would, I think as well, we just need to separate a few things. We have bots and we have AI. And these words are starting to become interchangeable. There is anybody here program or is in AI programming fields, any developers of any description? I was really hoping there'd be one, a little bit. How different is AI programming compared to someone creating an algorithm of a bot? If you're able, yeah? It's not like a little bit different. It's totally different. Is that fair?
You have one side where you can hard code your algorithms.
Hard code? Yeah.
They call it hard coding. So say you want your bot to move forward 2 steps, you tell your bot to move forward 2 steps, and that's hard coding. And then you have machine learning AI, which trains a bot to learn and build neural networks. And from there, you feed the bot all of like the past results of trades from whatever how many years, right? Or just like I don't know, anybody heard of Alphago?
Alphago.
Okay, so Alphago was a AI that was able to beat the world's best human player
for playing Go, which is the game. If you don't know what Go is, it's the game that has the most possible moves. Is that right?
Yeah, I think there's like not infinite, but like next to infinite is more moves than there are.
I think the technical term is lots and lots and lots and lots.
A hell of a lot. And so there is no way you can program hard code a program to be able to calculate all of those possibilities.
Because it's just too impossible.
Right. But chess, there's enough like operations that you can. So to program AlphaGo, they had to feed it multiple games and it would play against itself in a recursion method thousands and thousands of times. So it trains itself thousands of times over. Just like a human being, you get better by training yourself through a sport 1,000 hours at a time, right? And from there, it starts to build its own way of thinking. And it will start to...
And that's the key difference. A bot is programmed. A bot doesn't get better unless a human being sees what the bot's doing, changes the parameters, lets it run again. Correct? And an AI would observe the fact that it went this way and got a worse result and then go back a little bit. AI is what makes us all pick up our Facebook phones, the Facebook app. So my partner, Christina, realized, she turned to me one day and she said, does Facebook tell you when it's people's birthdays? And I said, never. And she said, that's interesting because that's all I ever get fed. And the AI had realized that if it serves her a birthday notification, she'll pick up her phone. I don't pick up my phone for birthday celebrations on Facebook. I would text someone, or it's just not the route I choose to take. That's because they set an AI with one MO, one operation, which is increase user time. That AI is thinking. It's a living, breathing entity that's got one job. I serve you a shitload of different notifications and see if I can find the one that picks up the phone. So in trading terms, there is AI trading algorithms out there, and they are, in my opinion, vastly superior to bots. But we are veering off the question at the back, which is why you wouldn't use a bot. But this came about because of complexity, and I definitely want to challenge it. If you want to program your own bot, you need what you said. You need knowledge, time, skill, and experience. But there are pre-programmed ones out there that you can literally just turn on. And your money's sat in an exchange, and you just literally turn it on. That's it. You got a question? You want to add to it? Answer it. Go for it.
Yeah.
What's your name?
Dimitri.
Dimitri.
Dimitri, yeah.
Dimitri.
So I personally don't use bots for two reasons. One of which is if you're using a bot, you're not really improving your personal trading. So ideally, as you get better, you make more money. But if you're always relying on someone else's trading style, someone else's programming, then you're always going to be beholden to them.
One challenge on that.
Yeah.
I do not want to trade.
Oh, yeah.
I might. So let's have a see. Who in here is or is enjoying or wants to be a trader, an actual trader who goes on a terminal each day and trades? Okay. And who has made the decision you absolutely don't ever want to? All right. So how do those people with their hands up do it? Because I'm with you. Like,
right.
It's like having something that automatically cuts your grass if you're a grass lover. I guarantee you they won't use a robot. They'll want to do it. But I think there's a time and a place for them.
So that now to my second point for those people, it's the opportunity cost. When you're trading with a bot, you're getting your 15% a month, which is a great return in conventional markets. But at the same time, you could have just bought Ethereum and kept holding it, and you would have been making more than that 15% over the course of the same time period.
I agree with that, but my job up here is devil's advocate. We'll come over here straight in a second. The difference is that that's only if I choose to sell it. In a bot, everything's ending up back in USDT, so your fiat-based currency or stable-based currency is increasing. With Ethereum, yeah, I could have held it and it could have risen, but in the next month, if it's dropped, I still haven't made anything. So they're two totally different strategies. So like I'm a hodler. Like I've got no interest in actually like making money. I don't want to increase my position. I enjoy the process of hodling. So but in that process, like any hodlers here, you see your price go up and up and up, and then you wake up and it's down and down and down. But you get used to it, yeah? But with a bot, your capital might start at 1,000. Next month it's 1,100. Next month it's 1,200. There's moments when you're in trades, but then you're back out. So it's a cash flow strategy rather than a crypto accumulation strategy. You see those differences?
Yeah, I mean, the inherent problem is most of the people in this room are here for the get rich quick. Bots are not that. Like you said, they're great for that 15%, 10% return in a bull market. That's not going to get you the Lamborghini.
But then we're moving into psychology, and like the one reasons I struggle with these events is because half of the people here just want to get rich. And the fact of the matter is that's not the purpose or the meaning or the capacity that crypto has. Like cryptocurrency has the capability to like completely liberate us from so many other fields. Like people have changed jobs. People can have a form of currency that's not beholden to a government. And there's a time when we've opened up these conversations a bit more. And I didn't really want to start with bots because it's all about money. And that's like this much about cryptocurrency and decentralization and Bitcoin and all of these things. So I'm totally with you. I really, really am. Nothing is a get rich quick scheme at all. But I do believe in tools. And I do believe that if there are people here that do not want fiat, they want their money out and they choose at their risk that I accept cryptocurrency. So for those people, having a cash flow strategy that you track and manage, which we're going to come on to, is a tool, even if it's 5%. We've got a question over there, and Madalat's got a question as well. Well, 1 second. He already sent up one.
I just want to add a comment.
Sure.
Props to you for coming out. I know beginners have no clue, but we all start somewhere. And I had to start somewhere too a couple years back. 2 reasons why I don't use is also I'm a hodler. Or more hodler than trader. I allocate maybe once or twice a year and I take profits as I go and dollar cost average. But there is no perfect way to trading, no perfect way to investing. You'll find your own path, whatever feels comfortable for you. No matter whatever it tells you, you'll find what works for you because it's emotional. Another reason I don't trade often, taxes.
Taxes.
It's another side to investing.
Yeah.
If you move your money, at least in my country, if you move your money in and out in less than a year, you get taxed on a higher rate as opposed to a long-term capital gains rate. So it's not favorable for me in my country to be trading on a higher frequency. So that's why I'll try and move slower and hodl for the most part.
Thank you very much.
My little answer. Thank you.
Okay, someone at the back had a question, and then we've got the guy at the front here. So, Madalat?
Okay, as I understand, there is the bots. You have to trade one coin. What I want to ask you, is there a way that you can choose one coin to trade, but then the bot chooses the best coin to trade that could get you the best profit?
The short answer to this is yeah. Like the purpose of this conversation isn't to go into like full detail on it, because even when I said it doesn't trade in a bear market, arbitrage and scalping works in all markets. That's it. End of story. Like it's just looking for differences in prices. So if you're gonna program a bot, like the lady over here said, yeah, you're gonna pick pairs, and there's a lot of complexity to it. But there are simpler ways to earn, like far better than a bank anyway. And you have to monitor them and track them, because honestly, guys, 99% of all the bots out there will fuck you over. Like they really will. Yeah, so like why don't I use all those bots? Because they're shit. And I don't trust them, and I don't like them, and I don't like the communities or anything. But personally, I found 5 or 6. I hated bots for ages until I started using them. And I have to say, it changed my opinion of them. I liked to trade years ago, but then I don't have the time. Or if I'm honest, you got to have passion to trade. You got to want it, yeah? And like, what is the stat? High 90% of people that trade lose money. So you've got, at best, a 1 in 10 chance of being the trader that makes money. That's not good odds for me, but I respect the hell out of good traders. But with a mixture of bots, and what I like the most is tracking, and that's what I'm going to come on to in a minute. The guy at the back, Grant, said, how do you trust something? Like, I track things every week. There's only one question. Of the 3, 4, 5 bots platforms, did it do better compared to last week? If yes, carry on. If it starts to go down and down, I'll stop it. I've got no allegiance to them, and they're not at all get-rich-quick schemes. But at 15% a month's been pretty consecutive now for 9 months. But I don't put all my money in it. But I appreciate it, and so I'm about climbing trees, guys. Like, I don't know what I think about AI, but it's not gonna go anywhere. Like it's just not. So it's like, how do we use these things to create more liberation so that you can then do whatever it is you want to do? And there are so many people in here, and the communities I run are full of people that have still got jobs, and they've had enough, and they're not going to learn to trade. So so bots have a place, but they're adult conversations, and they require us to not think it's going to make all the money in the world. Don't put all your money into it. Respect it. Track it. Like Nacho said, make sure you're not giving away all your permissions. Like, be aware of it. And so that's what I wanted to bring in, is that don't dismiss something just because we hear a lot of crap. Otherwise, we all wouldn't be in crypto in the first place, because we all know what the world thinks about crypto. Yeah, do we agree with it? No. So these are the reasons why I think bots are good. Yeah.
Okay.
I've
Hi.
totally ignored you, man, haven't I?
No worries, no worries. Hi, I'm Leon. Hey there.
Sorry, bro.
No worries.
Leon,
all good.
go.
Hi. So I'm also a hodler, and I've never considered using bots for any trading. Yeah. Also trust topics, whatever it is. What I think is very interesting, what you said, that the using bots is an entirely different strategy. To hodling, it's a cash flow creating strategy. And what I would want to understand, if you could elaborate a little bit on the reasons, how you got to that point and what like the decision factors for you were to kind of expose part of your portfolio to CryptoBot.
Cash flow. Like if you're a hodler, when do you get any money to live? Like when I came out here, I chose to leave behind certain jobs and income and yeah, Mexico is not a lot of money, but like you need cash, guys. Like all this crypto. Where's Sawai? Sawai wants us to like have like a directory where in Play.Karma we can pay with crypto. Yeah, as a hodler, right? I want you to, if you agree with this, raise your hand. As a hodler, you found it hard to sell. Yeah. So where do you get the money to live? And that, do you know how I found that out? When the market crashed and I ran out of money and I had to sell in May. You know, that really shitty crash. Oh, and that was the day I was like, fuck, this is not good. So that's how I started looking at different things. I was like, how do you actually, like all an economy is money keeps flowing, but it kind of has to flow through you. You got to flow into your pocket, then out of your pocket. And so bots was I just started tickling into it. And I respect them, but I'll tell you what, I'm still cautious.
Yeah, and how did you get started with super small amounts and then increased it, or
super small? Just like most of us here probably bought our first coin like $100 or $1,000 or something, and then before you know it, like what's that picture? Like all your money's in crypto and you're sat on a mattress in a spacesuit. You know, it's like, so it's the same with bots. I respect them, but they need management. They do need looking after, and they're only a small portion. That's all. There's a question back there, and we are going to have to move on. Do you want to just pass the mic here?
Just trade 2 days a month, and make some money.
Sure, if you know.
And you can make some thousands in 2 days. That's not a problem.
It's an easy thing to say.
The biggest problem with trading is my most valuable asset in the world. That's my time.
Yeah.
I'm spending behind the screen.
Agreed.
So that's what I don't like about trading. But when I need the money, I do it.
But let me ask you a genuine question. Do you know how to trade?
Yes.
There's the point.
It's simple.
Okay, we're going to move on from that. Does anybody here?
Buy low, sell high.
Damn it, that's what I've been doing wrong.
Okay.
Okay, Vadim, one more question in the back, did you say?
No question. I just have a comment.
Sorry, go on.
I'm just going to address
Yes.
the things that you talked about.
Okay, we go. Guys, come on.
And so,
hang on. Let's give him the respect. Go on, Gabriel.
the caveat to bot trading is that it's cyclical in nature, and so to truly be efficient in bot trading, you have to have a deeper understanding of how bots are coded and trading, because every bot is conditioned to specific market conditions. So one bot may be good at trading trends, one bot may be good at scalping, and so one of the reasons why bots are not always the best in the long term is because the crypto market is very volatile. And so it can shift from a trending market in an instant to a consolidated market. And certain bots don't work in consolidated markets. All you end up doing is losing money.
I hear you.
And so that is one of the reasons why like bots are not always the best, is because like in order to truly excel at bots, like you have to have a deeper level of understanding of how they actually function and in what market in which they function.
Yep.
To your second comment about hodling is great now because of decentralized finance. And so what I found during the particular market pullback is if you hold your money in a collateralized debt position, You can borrow against your money without ever losing your position. And so what generally happens is, oh my God, the market is down. I fucking need this money. I got to pay rent. I got to do these things. We don't want to pull out, because if you pull out, you end up losing more than 10%. If the market's down 20%, that's like your portfolio being down 80%, right? It depends on where you got in. And so I found it the best way to hodl is actually by staking it and opening collateralized depositions in which you're actually borrowing against the position. So your position is always intact. So you're never losing. So it allows you to hodl, but also use those funds in order to pay for real life world expenses.
Awesome. So you're basically talking on that second point there about borrowing against your crypto.
Yep.
So does anybody here not want to borrow against their crypto? Does anyone not like debt in any way? Couple of hands, because I'm in that. So like I want everyone to just understand one thing here, right? You're all right, all of you. Like Gabriel there gave some points that he will use debt leverage on his own collateral to raise that funds. Like in my value structure, I can't do that anymore. Like I want it away from debt, even against my own crypto. So in that instance, I'd rather sell. But that doesn't make me right and him wrong, or vice versa. We just have different value structures. And nothing is the best. Hodling is not the best. Trading is not the best. Bots are definitely not the best. They're just tools. And if there's one thing I would always want to encourage for all people is to be aware of all tools, understand where they fit, and understand the pros and cons. Because he's right. If you have a bull market trading bot and you suddenly swing down, you better have a really bloody good stop loss on it. Otherwise, you are screwed. So it's if you're going to get into it, understand the differences between them. Understand what permissions you're giving out, because they're all different and unique. So I kind of want to move on to like tracking and various other things to help people understand the larger portfolios. But before I go, genuine question, does anyone here have any last burning things that they don't understand or that they'd like to ask on that point? Yep. Go for wherever it is.
Oh yeah, I was gonna make a point just on, so you can get 15% with a trading bot, but you could just take a crypto loan, like he said. You take a small loan, like maybe 10% of your crypto, you get that in USDT, USDC, a stable coin. You can then stake that in a protocol and get 15%. So you have substantially less risk. So there's really no reason for any newbie to use a trading bot. It makes zero sense to me. You have way higher risk, and you can get the exact same return or better by just staking your money in a DeFi protocol. Really, I have to say it doesn't make any sense for a newbie to be playing with bots. Most of them are even scams. Like, I would highly recommend you stay away from them.
Yeah, thank you very much for that. And I double down on that as well. And if you're new, like if I'm honest, if you're new, stay away from most things and start treading water carefully, because it's a rocky place. It's crypto. You want to speak? Just 1 second.
Bots, some of these bots, when I see they're pulling between 8 and he says 15, that's the highest I've ever heard. 10% is pretty high for a bot. But when you stake, I'm seeing 10, 12% a year, not a month, a year, right?
Is that right? Just 1 second. So he's asking, is your on staking, are you talking about 10 to 10% a month or a year?
You'll get 10 to 15% a year, but you've also got to consider your risk, which is a very important variable to consider. You said your bot is making what, like 42 trades a year or something like that, you said?
No. Look, they're first of all, they're not my bots.
Okay, look,
and I just want to get really clear.
Yeah,
I don't promote bots, but I'm bringing a topic that it has contention, as you can see.
Sorry, I'm not calling it.
And the one in question that I talked about has done 600 trades and lost 6. The money is in Coinbase Pro. It trades Bitcoin and Ethereum. There's risk in everything, but the amount of risk has to be relative to the amount of investment you put into it.
Sure. So I have kind of 2 rebuttals for that. The first one is just, if you do 600 trades, that's substantially more risk, because each trade there's more downside loss, or downside risk, I should say. Whereas if you just get your 15%, typically in the market, you're getting 8% if you invested in stocks over a long period of time. 15% in a protocol, 19.5% in Anchor protocol on Luna is incredible.
It's phenomenal.
Like, we're living in an amazing time. So something with a bot though, you have to be able to audit the code yourself, or it's been audited by a respected auditing firm. If they have not done that,
It's extremely risky, even if a lot of people are there. Like
dodgy.
maybe people heard back in the day of BitConnect, where people lost, like $1 billion was rug pulls. Like it could be a long con. So you got to be extremely careful, make sure it's audited. And then like the guy in the corner said, I think his name was Dimitri, if you hold an asset like Ethereum over 10 years, you will substantially outperform the 15% you're going to get there.
Completely true.
With substantially less risk. And risk is a very important factor in all of this. Much better to, protect your principal and make more steady returns than to have huge blow-up risk, which you have with these bots where you lose all of your principal. And I think that's something people need to consider, is the risk and the opportunity cost.
Well said. Give him a round of applause, everyone. Thank you very much. So I hope everyone learned something within that. And if there's one thing, it is in England, we have something called Marmite. Do we have Marmite? Is that a worldwide thing or not? Yeah. What is it? Yeast, Vegemite or yeast extract. Who loves it? Say yeah. Or who hates it? Say ugh. See, it's Marmite. So whatever you're doing, risk is number one. So let's talk about risk then, and let's talk about tracking. Who uses tracking software to track their crypto? All right. Anyone use a name in particular you want to share? None? Anybody use Coin Tracker? Yeah? Anyone use Coinly? One there. Anyone use a Recap? None. Anybody not use any tracking software or has no idea what it is? Oh, a little bit. Okay. Let me ask. I forgot already. It's not really good whilst we're in the midst of it. What would you say? How do you two know if your trades have done good or how your portfolio is doing? Where's vetting? Can we get a mic here? Oh. Do you want to answer, Gabriel?
I was going to say one thing about portfolio tracking is, one question you didn't ask is, do you use API permissions or do you just input the data?
It depends what you want to do.
So I'm asking you, do you use API permissions when you trade?
Okay. When I trade.
When you track.
I use read-only API permissions.
Okay, API permissions. Because sometimes that's not the best for everybody. That's why I was asking you.
Yeah, correct. So there's like two ways of tracking. You can input your trades manually, or you can connect things up with read-only APIs. Yeah. Did you want to carry on?
No, I just was asking you that question. Dan.
Yeah, cool. I used to track things manually, yeah, and then at some point I was like, this is a pain in the ass, and I had no idea about tracking software, and then I went and played with it and just connected them up to all of the exchanges, and every movement over here just is there, and I can see in all of its glory where stuff is and how much, and it changed my whole view of how I look at crypto. And that's why I think it's really important to discuss tracking. The lady at the back there. Where's the other mic? Who has the mic?
Hi.
It's here.
I've never used a.
What's your name? Sorry.
Miriam.
Miriam. Hi, Miriam.
Hi. I've never used a tracker outside of just the exchange, the one exchange that I use. So with the trackers that are available, do they show the prices on multiple exchanges so that you can see the difference in the price for different exchanges? Because that would be useful. Other than that, I'm fine.
Do you currently have like all your coins on one exchange?
Yeah.
Okay, so then when you look at those coins on that exchange, can you tell today which ones have made profit without having to think?
Yeah.
Okay. So it'll actually say what the gain is of that coin since you first bought it.
It's not a lot, so it's really easy for me to.
But you still have
tell.
to think. You still have to think though, because
Yeah.
you know you bought it at 20,
Right.
and it's now 40.
Right.
Okay, but imagine right now with one exchange, handful of coins, the price that it's at, that's manageable. We used the analogy earlier. If I was cooking here for me and Chris, I can do it in a kitchen this big. But if you all want to have dinner, do we need a bigger kitchen? Yeah. So as soon as you're on more than one exchange, as soon as you've been in and you've bought the same coin at 5 different prices, you need a method. It is my belief you need a method to know What's the average price I bought it for? What's the price it's at now? Which one has had the greatest return? That's where tracking software comes in. Some of it's free. Some of it costs you like $10 a month. But if you don't need it, you don't need it. But at some point, it's a useful tool. Gabriel, do you track? Can we get a with Vadim?
I do track. However, I find it challenging to track now because a lot of my money is heavily in decentralized finance. And so like generally before it was all on exchanges. I just hook it up through the API, Kraken, Coinbase, and I could track everything via, you know, the API. But now that I'm on decentralized exchanges, it's a little bit more difficult to track because there are not really a lot of platforms that allow you to track, cross-track between centralized and decentralized exchanges.
If you, just a little side note, CoinTracker just launched a whole DeFi tracking section that's pretty cool. It's not for me because I'm not really into that space, but like from the community I'm in and what they said about it, it's pretty. They spent a long time working on it, so I'm gonna pass that on to maybe just have a look. I first reviewed coin tracking software like 3 years ago, and in 3 years they have changed like so much. So they are coming on a long way. But I hear what you're saying. Crypto is already complex enough, yeah? But there's people in here who will have a couple of exchanges, and actually a coin tracking software can go a long way to just help you just see what you've got and how you can see it better. One second, we got a question over here.
Yeah, that's very simple. I'd just like to know your suggestion, perhaps, to a good software for tracking, because at the time I was into Blockfolio as a basic user, right? And then I realized that they actually take a lot of permissions out of your stuff. They see way too much. And then I got into Delta, and I realized that the value that you buy things with. So I was going down on Binance, let's say, I buy like 100 BUSD, and the peg to the BUSD was not right.
What was the USB?
So if you buy BUSD, so USD, but in Binance, you would buy Ethereum with that, like $100 worth of it. When it captures it, it does not track 100; it tracks less.
Okay, interesting.
So that compounds, and then at the end of the days, you don't know. And that was a bug, which I tried to chase them, and it's still going around. And this is a bug I've seen a lot in a lot of
Delta.
trackings. This is Delta.
Yeah.
But I've seen another one, so I'm interested in migrating to something better. It's not very useful.
There's a question at the back in a second, but my answer to that is Delta's free, yeah, and so's Blockfolio, which has now been bought out by FTX. They're all really good, but my issue with free software sometimes is there comes a time when it's just worth to pay. Like CoinTracker and Coinly, they own their own companies. They have one job, to make coin tracking software. That's it, and it's like $10 to $14 a month, and that's all that they do. Whereas Delta, I do think they take more information. Anyone that's giving away something for free, Google's free, but we know what the price is.
But you can pay for it, but it comes with an error still.
It comes with an error.
Yeah.
Hey, buy our software. It doesn't work very well, but you can pay us.
And they know this for quite a while.
Okay, but for me, the best two is CoinTracker and Coinly. I just think they work the best. And
Isn't that Coinly that you can bind that with some taxing software?
Say that again?
Is it Coinly that you can then track that for tax?
They're both tax as well. So
Yeah.
this is the other thing. Coin tracking software goes in two parts. There's tax software and there's tracking. But Coinly and CoinTracker do both. So you can track and then you can pay them a fee and they'll tell you what taxes you owe for your jurisdiction. And they work with most countries in the world. So they just, in my opinion, I think Coinly's better, but it is more complex. CoinTracker is super easy. But you use the one that works for you. Was there a question at the back? No, we're all good on there. Okay, so
we have one.
We do have one. Okay, go for it.
Hi, my name is Tasha.
Hi, Tasha.
I'm not sure if I can explain the question correctly, but I'm using CoinStats.
CoinStats?
CoinStats.
Yep.
And okay, I'll give you an example. Imagine you got Matic and Cardano, you realize some profits, and then you want to double check again which coins have made some gains again. is there an app where you can track the profits you have done without the app mixing up with the gains you have realized or the profits you have realized already?
So you're talking that I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to repeat it back to see if I understand that. You're saying that you've bought some coins at different price times. You've got so much. You've got $10,000 worth of Cardano, and you bought it for 2,000. So you have an 8,000 unrealized gain, and then you're saying you want to sell some, which then becomes a realized gain, crystallized, and you still want to be able to see how much profitability is left over here. Is that right?
Yes, without the, let's say, 2,000
Yeah.
you already realized.
So really, it would say spent 2,000. Then it would say value 10,000, unrealized gains 0, and then you do your transaction, and it should say spent 2,000. Well, it would actually be a bit less now. It would say unrealized gains 8,000. Sorry, it would say price 8,000. Unrealized gains, it would say 6. Realized gains, it would say 2. I mean, all coin tracking software should tell you that. This is the thing why when I start using coin tracker, like the ability to see that information makes decisions so much easier. Because when you need to sell, you can see which coins you've actually taken your capital back from, which ones you haven't. Go on, have I got it confused?
No. I think I haven't used the right app then, because CoinStats doesn't show this.
Does it not? Do you pay for it?
Yeah, of course.
Because I think CoinStats is my understanding is it's one of the top 5. How many different? You don't have to answer this, but
More than like a lot.
If you don't have many exchanges,
I do.
Well, if you can be bothered, then go on Coinly or Coin Tracker. They've all got free. It's free for like 30 days or something. Pull the APIs in and just see if it gives you different information. Because what you're asking for there is pretty. Of all the ones I've seen, it's pretty standard. Because if you can't see your realized gains and your unrealized gains, how can you make a decision? Give it a go. Have a see. But thank you very much for your question there. So, time check. 30. Let's have a see. Does anybody here? Just the guys that the girls or the guys that hodl, that struggle to sell or have ever, just raise your hand again, just to see how many. If you've struggled to actually exit your portfolio, is it because of emotions or confusion? Do you mind sharing? 1, 2, 2.
I think that really depends on it. So one part of it is, the future prospect of it. Like, I'm not selling an asset when I have the conviction that this asset will continue growing for an indefinite time in the future. So converting it back to any kind of fiat currency just seems stupid. So I try every other way to actually get fiat to do whatever I need to do without touching my crypto. I would also say that, other strategies like probably like lending against it is a better one, but no. Emotions, maybe, depending on what kind of positions I have. Like if it's a more risky position, I define like a sell-off plan already up front with certain goals, place limit orders, and wait for it to happen. So
Okay.
emotions are out of it.
So he said a key word there, limit orders. I want to finish this off and then do you want to just share first? And I'm going to see if I can tie these in a little bit.
Of course, when I was a beginner, I was just all about that hodl conditioning. Because
hodl,
you hodl long enough, you'll hodl through everything. With fundamentally speaking, because with all the crazy money printing, right? Any assets just gotta inflate eventually. But now, with a little bit more understanding, I dollar cost average in and dollar cost average out. When I'm in an uptrend, of course, thank you.
There we go. Thank you. I know it sounds really loud, but I promise you it's not. just in your ears. You get used to it.
Of course, it's always emotional. Best way to go is sell in the green, buy in the red, of course. Much easier said than done, but
apparently not. But,
but when you're on uptrend and you have these, like I use a lot of what's the trade viewer and look into Bitcoin.com. When some indicators are saying that maybe it's a little overheated, maybe that's when you should start taking some profits. And then, you know, when you're in the bear market, of course, that's when you hodl or just keep adding stats. So that's when you start adding stats when you're in a bear market, right? When you're in a overheated market, when it's like, when everybody, including your taxi driver, your aunt from Timbuktu is talking about Bitcoin, that's when you know it's a little overheated, and that's when you may want to start taking profits. But that's what I've been learning. Anybody's got their own opinion.
Yeah, and then everyone has their own way of doing it. Down here, you talk. What's your name again? Sorry,
Leon.
Leon. So Leon talks about limit orders, yeah, and limit sells or whatever you want to call it. Like when people are entering into crypto, it took a while for me to learn that. It took a while for me to understand it. And the reason we have limit orders is the price is here. I think it's going to go to there. I set a limit order. Have you ever set a limit order only to wake up and find out that it just did this, and now it's down there, and you're like, oh, flip. And that's the game that you play, yeah. So my view with all of crypto, I'm not here to. I don't want to squeeze everything I can out of it. I'm not here to look at charts. It's not my forte. Like, I believe in time in the market is better than timing the market. And I think that works both ways. So when I choose to sell, I sell. Because I've spent so much time staring at a screen and thinking about it. So I found two tools, and I wanted to share them because they changed how I view things, and I welcome anybody to share theirs. I found 3 commas, and I found Shrimpy. Okay? And I just want to talk about them super quickly. What's this mean? Oh, again, shrimpy, like camarons, but with a Y. Shrimp, Y. Shrimpy. And 3 commas. 3 commas. Everybody got that? So really quickly, I'm going to try and do them both in like 2 minutes because I'd love other people's views. Shrimpy, again, it does use an API. There will be some of you from a security perspective who don't like that. I'm okay with it. I turn my APIs on and off when I'm not using them for a long time. But Shrimpy will connect to all exchanges. You can view all of your coins. And so in the last 24 hours, me and my partner were wanting to exit like 3 or 4%. Imagine trying to exit 3 or 4% from 20 coins. It's a ball ache. In Shrimpy, you can just pull them all in and go -3%, add tether, slide the tether up, click execute, it's done. I filmed my screen. It took me 4 minutes, 30 seconds to exit a few percent from 20 coins. That saved me time on a screen. Did I get the best price going up and timing? No. Did I get a market price? Yeah. But with things that are so liquid, I will have got spot price. I'm not selling 100 grand here. Yeah.
So you bought Loop Ring a few weeks ago? No? It went up fast.
Okay.
The last days. Like 150%.
Yeah. Okay. What's that got to do with?
No, but when you look to some coins, and I look at it and I say, okay, this is a possibility that it will go up. I buy them, and when it goes up like 150%, I sell them.
We're talking about tools here
Yeah.
that help people make decisions faster.
Yeah, I love to make my decisions myself.
Then use them.
And tools are always, it's made by humans, and humans make mistakes. So.
But we still drive cars every day.
Yeah, and we make also mistakes in the car.
I never want to lose anything here. Like, you're all welcome to do whatever the fuck you want. But if we don't talk and share different tools, I wished I'd have learned Shrimpy years ago. So my point is that it serves a purpose. I'm not gonna look at a screen and find a loop ring and buy it. So I need a different solution, and there's people here that need those different solutions. So they're all just different reasons for achieving an end result. And if you hold more than 15, 20 coins, and the lady at the back has got multiple exchanges, if she needs to decide to sell 3% of her portfolio, that's going to take at least an hour to log on to exchanges, pick each coin, take 3% off, do a market sell, next coin.
Yeah.
In Shrimpy, it took
Yeah,
4.5 minutes. And then if you're really concerned, go and turn the APIs off. So that's what I mean. It serves a purpose. That's all.
Yeah, okay.
Vadim, someone's got a question in the back?
Yeah. So what I can share is for tools to monitor my buy and my holdings. I use two things. The first thing is on the App Store. It's called Blockfolio. So Blockfolio is like really friendly user. You can insert your coin that you have, at what price you have. Then it will monitor the percentage gains, but you cannot trade from it. And the other tool I use, it's free to use also. It's a Trading View. Many people know it, so it's like a chart service, Trading View. And what I do is like I search for for example, I'm buying Solana, and I go into Solana, and then I place my entry point, and I just put the date that I put my entry, and I put the amount of money I put it for that entry and the date, and then I put an alert on my price target. And once I reach that price target, I get out of my position, basically, because I don't want to be in forever and ever. We're all here for profit, so I see no point of holding it forever and ever. So I'm in that mindset, basically.
So do you have your Trading View connected to your exchange then?
I do not. Yeah, I use MetaTrader to put my trades in, and I monitor through my Trading View.
So Trading View will give you the signal.
Yes.
And then you manually go and put it in. It's a limit order in MetaTrade.
Correct.
Okay, cool. Nice one. Awesome. Thank you very much. Anyone else use any other systems or tools within crypto that helps them organize things better? Guy at the back behind you.
Oh, hi, Michael here.
Michael.
I like to use, it's not a tool, but it's a system. It's referred to as a little old lady strategy. So if you buy the same amount, you buy a bunch of coins and you buy the same amount. Let's say everything you buy for $500. And then whenever something goes up double, you take out half.
Simple.
It's not very sophisticated, but it's...
I got one question. Does it work?
It works. It works well.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It works. That's all that really counts. Yeah. I think
it's called the little old lady strategy. I got that from a guy on YouTube called Da Vinci J15. I like it.
The little old lady strategy.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it, man. There's a guy the other day who messages me, and he said his strategy is to buy $50 worth of every coin just as it comes on Coinbase.
Yeah, and
that's it. That's all he does.
And then,
Well, when they go on when coins go on Coinbase, as soon as they go on Coinbase, do they go up or down? Up. Well, they go up, then they dump. Yeah. So he's riding that wave, and he also knows that long term that they'll probably go up. There's so many strategies in crypto. Like there really is. You got to find the guy in front of you, the nice shirt. I respect your shirt, sir. No, the guy's turning around. You spoke earlier. Like, yeah. You use Trading View, yeah? And that works for you, and you manually move the trades over. He buys $5 or $50 of each coin, and as soon as it's doubled, takes your money out. Like, it's easy to get lost in crypto. There's so much to do. You're able to look at a chart and go, that one there, boom. As soon as it's up, take it out. We've all got to find, it's like sport, I suppose, or exercise. You've got to find the thing that works for you. It took you years. I think it takes everybody years. I want to share another tool, the 3 commas one. The reason, anybody here use 3 commas? None at all. 1, okay. 2. I like 3 commas because of its trailing take profit. So like recently with Solana was at like 200. And like the guy here, Leon, yeah? You don't want to sell because you're like, I want to hold it. I think it's worth more in the future.
Really depends on what it is.
Yeah, but it was one of your
one of. Yeah,
so I
the
found that
rationales,
3 commas helps me be okay with that. So shrimp is good if you need to sell now. I need to take 3% out of my portfolio. But with Solana, you think it's coming to an all-time, you know, it's nearing a top, and you think, I'm going to take a bit of profit. And 3 commas has a really easy interface. You can just go, I want to sell Solana, and it'll say, I want to sell it at a higher price. And you can just tick a box that says, trailing take profit. It's a trailing, well, it's a trailing take profit, like a trailing stop loss, following it behind. So it's at 240. I say once it's at 250, sell, but don't sell if it's going up. So the price of Solana goes up to 250. It triggers the sell, but the sell's on pause because the price is still going up until it reaches a curve. And I set that at like 1%. And as soon as it drops 1%, it sells. So now I don't, if I have time, this is the thing about limit orders, you need time. If you know that you want to sell something, you think we're at a bit of a peak, you're cool. You can just go, I want to sell 10, that's my lowest price, and just leave. Until then, I only had limit orders. So it would 250 would sell. I wake up the next day, it's at 290. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So 3 commas changed that for me a little bit. And 3 commas. Commas? Yeah, everyone understand that? It's in the chat. It's in the chat, yeah. So because of that one tool. So it's coin specific, but as for newbies, it's a really easy interface to understand. And that's why I like it.
Yeah, so I would like to share an investment thesis for people who don't know anything about any project. So what do you want to do when you're looking for a cryptocurrency instead of like being into a gambler mentality and try to flip that 50 into 500 in 6 seconds? What you can do is like you can look at the coin market cap, right? coinmarketcap.com. If you want to see this, every projects are in there. And what you can do is you can look at the website for the wallpaper and the white paper, and you can look at the team, if they're credible people on LinkedIn, what are their backtracking, and if on the white paper, for example, on Solana, they said that it will go for a new update on Solana. Do they respect that timeline, or do they postpone it and everything? So I think who is behind the project? Are they respecting their timeline? And yeah, what people are behind it is basically what you want. The true fundamentals, you want to go for a coin, because you don't want to necessarily go for that 800,000% gain with the Shiba Inu coin, which is a meme coin, you know. Sometimes you get smart investments, so that way you put that $50, for example, but you made your research and it worked, and then you do it for another one instead of like doing the gambling mentality and go for 10 coins, $50. Oh, this one worked, but I don't know why it worked, you know. So I think that's a good starting point for people to understand how to invest.
So you're talking there about using sites like CoinMarketCap to do basic due diligence on this project, this token, who's behind it, do they do what they say they're going to do, who's invested in it, all these sorts of things.
Yes, and don't invest in what you don't know.
Yeah, that is I agree with that. It's a really strong maxim, but don't let that, like, there's a saying, don't let the tail wag the dog. Don't invest because you're worried about taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we need to think about taxes, but don't not invest. And I think sometimes I'm a stickler for too much due diligence. 3 months passes, I still haven't done anything because I'm doing due diligence. So I want to always say the other side of things, because I do what this gentleman's talking about, but I'm aware that I can get caught up in my own research and then do nothing whilst the price is going up. And then you're like, oh, I'll wait for the dip that never comes. So now I just buy, and then I know when I buy, there's always a dip. Yeah, so I'm the dip creator.
So what I'm proposing in that case is, instead, what you can do, you thought you have like $1,000 investment. So maybe what you can do is, once you're doing your research. Yeah. Once you're doing your research.
There we go.
Sorry. I'm not used to this, Mike.
It's okay.
So yeah, just put like 25% of your initial investment. So like instead of putting $1,000 in this coin, do 25%. Do your due diligence, then invest that 25. So your dollar cost averaging, you know, so that maybe could help.
Yeah. I'm cool with my strategies now. I'm just sharing based on past.
Yeah, it's for people.
Two people here have mentioned dollar cost averaging, and I really just want to emphasize that. Does anybody not understand what dollar cost averaging is? We're all good? Good. Because it literally is one of the... Okay, gentlemen here. I know you're doing research as well, aren't you? In fact, can we give him a mic? Are you okay to just say, I got one question for you. I just want you to say how old you are. That's it.
13.
Give him a round of applause. 13 years old. What were you all doing when you were 13? So he's 13 years old. I just really respect that because when I was 13, there weren't things that we would even... I don't know, kids were different when I was 13. So his question is, what's dollar cost averaging? Well, there was no internet. There was no internet. So the opposite of dollar cost averaging is buying everything now. You got $100 you're going to invest, you invest it. Standard. Dollar cost averaging is I'm going to spend 10 now and 10 next week. So 10 for 10 weeks. Or the gentleman at the back, what he was showing is I'm gonna spend as I learn more. 25% right now. I learn who's running it. I'm happy. 25%. But there's basically you're going in stages, and it can work both ways. But a lot of the research shows that if you dollar cost average, you can outperform a lot of traders. But there's exceptions to all this and everything. But dollar cost averaging is a really safe, simple strategy for going in. Vadim, guy at the back. Can you just repeat your name again, sir, with the beautiful shirt?
So it's Benjamin.
And can you hold the mic a little bit closer?
Benjamin.
Hi, Benjamin.
All right. So another thing I wanted to share is like you don't need to do this work all by yourself. So don't try to be like I'm not that intelligent, you know. So I like to use other people's brain to make an opinion too. What I can share is a really trustful source that I use. It's called Cryptonary.
Crypto, like dictionary,
like exactly.
But crypto.
So crypto, CRYPTONARY, and they're based in London. They do a lot of research. They have like 15 people working for this company. They do a lot of research, and they actually help you to choose coin, and they show you the technicals, the buying price, the entry price, their price prediction. They analyze all the targets for you. It's like $45 a month. So it's a no-brainer. If you're new to this crypto stuff, you better look at them. Honestly, it's a really good, and
Awesome.
it's cheap.
Thank you very much, bro. Thank you very much. Anyone else use anything in crypto that they think would help people on their journey? Or are we all throwing mud at the wall? Come on, bro.
I use Coin Perspective.
Coin Perspective.
Yes.
Never heard of that. Tell us.
And so Coin Perspective is how you analyze the particular cryptocurrency's market capitalization to see where it could potentially go into the future and when to enter and exit a trade. So I don't know, if you put it up right now, right, you can compare two particular coins against each other, right, in terms of market capitalization. So you say like Aave versus MakerDAO, and it's how you can find coins that are essentially undervalued. And so if you compare two coins, right, and you say Aave has a total value locked of 10 billion and Curve Finance has a total value locked of 8 billion, but Aave has a higher market cap with less total value locked. But you know, if that market cap switched, that would be a 3x on Curve. So it allows you to see the potential profitability of coins once you know how to analyze it.
Oh,
so you can know if you're going to get a 2 or 3x off a coin initially by just comparing two coins.
Yeah. And that's so you're able to effectively, you're viewing a coin by its total circulation price and where it could be compared to, like you said, Curve and Aave, similar markets. You're able to say, okay, there's more upside potential in one than another.
Based on market cap, exactly, and total value locked.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can find those discrepancies.
Yeah. So what he's sharing there is not just a piece of software that shows you some information, because it's just information, but he's using that as part of his trading strategy as well. So he's using that as a metric to go, this is going to help me identify my next moves, or maybe the other way. Would you also use that to identify that you might sell?
Yes.
Overvalued.
You can see overvalue. So you can say, this coin is probably not going to pump. So putting my money in this protocol is already completely overvalued. Like, exactly like Cardano, like a lot of coins, like people always jump in when it's too late, market cap is too high, total value lock is already incorporated into the price of the stock. So it also, you're right, it helps you show you that coins that are overvalued.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's the worst, right? When you jump into a coin that already pumped, and now you're sitting holding that shit for 3 to 6 months, and everybody's like, it's going to continue to go up, but it just kind of just consolidates for the next 6 to 12 months or corrects.
And this comes down to whether, and if you're a massive hodler, you can take it, but other than that, you got to sell. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for that, Gabriel. All right, we're coming close to the end. We did have some other, we're going to discuss Taproot a little bit. Are there people in here that are interested in learning more about Bitcoin Taproot? Yeah? Okay, so to do Taproot, we might go over like 5 minutes. The reason we stop at 9 is because they start playing really loud music. So we're just going to see. We're going to try and see if we can cover a little bit of Taproot. So I am not a... just 1 second. Let's let these guys leave. I'm not... Guys, you know you're being really loud at the front here. Right. I'm not a Taproot expert, but does anyone in here want to spend a couple of minutes and explain? I've done enough research to try and elaborate on it, but we got a Taproot person here. Yeah, there's a mic. What's your name?
Oh, I'm supposed to explain? I would love to learn about it. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So does anybody want to try and explain it that's better than me? Oh, there he is. Go on, Nacho. Nacho's our seasonal explainer of all things blockchain.
Taproot's pretty boring. Like really, what it is on the surface is.
Then just tell us why it's useful.
Well, it's useful because hang on.
Okay, what is it first?
First is it? So Taproot is an upgrade to the Bitcoin Corp, which, like all Bitcoin upgrades now, is a soft fork, and that it's opt-in, but the signaling by nodes and miners in the case it's going to pass, it's going to be merged in anyway. So basically, what it means is that there's more functionality available in the cryptography that's used to create signatures of Bitcoin transactions, right? Now, it's all super technical and nerdy sort of mathematics stuff, but what it means, the significance, is what's important. So I don't know if anyone here was around when SegWit was getting merged into Bitcoin in 2017, back in the day. Hey, respect. So that was one where, look, it's, I could explain what SegWit is, but it's just like a really boring way that a digital signature gets moved to a different part on the transaction, right? It's totally boring to explain, but what it means is that it solved a thing called the transaction malleability problem, which meant, again, like super technical shit, but you could have two transactions that could have the same transaction ID, which meant that the Lightning Network couldn't work. So with SegWit, that means that you could have Lightning Network, which means that you can create more or less contracts on top of Bitcoin that allow you to send Bitcoin around within those contracts for more or less free, like 1 Satoshi or something like that, at like lightning fast speed. So Taproot offers a similar sort of promise in that it's going to bring the transaction cost of Bitcoin transactions down a little, not much, but a little. But the main thing is that it allows what's called MooSig, which is like a type of multi-sig thing, and also I forget the name, but it's a different type of transaction that can be used to construct a Lightning Network transaction. That basically means when you're using Taproot at the moment, you do both those things. You can tell very clearly on the blockchain that this was a multi-sig transaction, or this was a Lightning Network transaction that was closed. With Taproot, that and some other things that we can build on this in the future, like the Lightning Network, it's not so clear at the moment, but there's a lot of options that will come when this is in there. where you can't tell that was this just a regular Bitcoin transaction? Was this a multi-sig transaction? Was this a coin join where like 6 people joined together to mix all their coins together and get different ones out? They all look the same on the blockchain. So it's totally boring to explain, but what it means is that fees are going to get cheaper, and that the things you can build on Bitcoin, it opens up a lot more possibilities because it unlocks a different type of digital signature that can be used.
Does that not also mean? Nacho, thank you for explaining something.
That
that's
wasn't
really
too.
difficult.
Yeah. It's
Can
kind
we
of
just
boring
give
stuff.
Nacho a little round of applause, please? Because it's hard, yeah? But what I also hear in all that is privacy. Because if you, like, coin joins are ways of joining a lot of coins together and like obscurating them a little bit. And some governments don't like it, and some people don't like it, and various other things. So we have a blockchain here that records everything. And at the minute, coin joins can be spotted. Lightning transactions can be spotted. And you're saying that this new thing, everything will be done, let's say the video I saw is like as roots. And then they'll all be combined to show one block that just looks like every other block. So all of a sudden, wouldn't that massively increase a layer of privacy on?
Yes and no. I mean, like, let's be honest. Most people in this room probably like have one Bitcoin address that they use in the exchange, and all their Bitcoin has gone to this one thing. And if you told me that address, I can see all the Bitcoin that you had. And most people are criminally naive about the way they use this stuff. But it does does reduce the amount of on-chain surveillance that can be done on what type of transaction is going on here, which has applications that flow from it. Like you said, with coin joins, they are identifiable on the blockchain at the moment, and there have been instances where people have withdrawn their money. So not like they've not sent coin join Bitcoins, like mixed Bitcoins into an exchange. They've taken them off and then they've mixed it, and accounts have closed their, exchange have closed their accounts because they mixed coins after they took it off. You know, once it's your money, you've gone and done what you like with it. And they said, we don't like what you've done with your money once.
So people have taken their money off an exchange.
Yeah.
Used the coin join, a mixing service, let's say.
And they've got an email from
and then
the
come back and say, we've closed your exchange.
Saying, well, not quite. They say, like, we want to know what you're doing, and if you don't reply, we'll close your account.
What exchange was that?
I believe Binance and what was it? I can't remember the other one. It was a relatively well-known one. It wasn't Bitfinex. It wasn't Kraken. I think it might have been Coin. I can't remember off the top of my head, but so I mean, this is the thing, and like people, like guys, we're in like a honeymoon period right now where you know no one cares about the stuff. But believe me, in the future, you know, this is why you see Mastercard and stuff buying chain surveillance companies. It's not so that they can like use Bitcoin and be compliant. It's because they want to, just like Google does with your data, they want to know every, you know, where all your money is and how you use it and sell you advertising or all sorts of other nefarious shit like that on it. And so, yeah, people don't understand this, and you don't really need to care about it at the moment, but you will in the future. And what this allows is, and again, it's not like what's being merged is not going to change the shit tomorrow, but it means that people that build these stuff like wallets, they can now have the tools where this is now possible, that they can build the stuff that they know they want to do, but the cryptography being used there just isn't, it doesn't allow it to happen.
So in short, then this TAPROOT upgrade will come in, and it has been approved, yeah.
It has, yeah. It's getting merged in.
It's coming in November.
Next week, I believe it's activating.
And so in short, it should begin to lower fees, but it might not have that much of an effect. Specifically this is only Bitcoin.
Depends on your transaction. For like a multi-sig transaction, it can be up to 50%. For like a regular one, like 10, 12. So
you mean reduction?
Yeah. And Bitcoin fee transactions are still, even when it got really high yesterday, $1. So they're still quite low. So, but it does reduce them, which is something for the future. But,
I didn't realize they were that low. I thought they were still like $20.
No, that's what Binance will tell you. But if you look on, but the one other last thing about the other one is,
guys, 1 second, let's keep it down a little bit. We're nearly finished.
The like you know, the whole like quantum computing thing, which I think is total garbage, and I think empirically is total garbage. But the one thing that if you were able to use a quantum computer to break cryptography involved in Bitcoin, it would be an EDSA, which is the elliptical signature signature algorithm, is what that stands for, which is the digital signatures that are used to create Bitcoin transactions. Now that if you look at it, technically probably will be broken within 20, 30 years. They will be able to not take your Bitcoin, but if you were spent from a Bitcoin address before and you took money in there, potentially they will be able to use that signature to reverse engineer what your key is. Not a big thing, but it's a problem. Snore signatures, which is what Taproot uses, don't have that problem, right? So it means that by the time that's a real thing, almost everyone would have migrated the coins over, and it eliminates that real issue. You know, which again, like I think the quantum computer thing is a big nothing, but if there was going to be something, it would be EDSA, and that solves that problem.
So that I'm just going to summarize the last bit. This transition into Taproot means that we're a bit more quantum computing hackable resistant.
Yeah, which isn't even really a thing, but if that was ever going to happen, that would be where it happens.
Yeah,
and
okay,
that problem
okay.
has been solved now, more or less.
Awesome. So as we began, Taproot, it's not the most exciting thing, but it is really, really big, but not all at the same time.
It's like with SegWit, like you've got a new digital signature way of doing it, which no one cares about, right? But then comes the Lightning Network, and holy shit, I can send money pretty much instantly for pretty much nothing, right? Wow, that matters, right? That's what will come from Taproot.
I think this will really help the Lightning Network change. And that's one of the things. We're going to wrap it up in a minute, but so I had a really good, he wanted us to begin to talk about how do we spend and use cryptocurrency within Playa del Carmen or the Riviera. How do we build a database of trusted restaurants, trusted OTC places? Like we have a large over-the-counter community here where we're just trying to just build something whereby you can live in crypto more. One of the events we're going to do December 1st, we got Didi here from the Bitcoin family, and we're going to have a conversation with him and a couple of others as like a panel on one topic, which is how do you live only in crypto? What does it mean? Like, what are the downfalls? Where do you lose credit? What if you needed credit? What does it happen when you go back into the, I don't want to say the real world. What's the non-crypto world called? The fiat world, we'll call it that. So basically, how do you live in a crypto world and how does that interact with the fiat world? And so these sorts of conversations kind of help us understand that more. And I think where Taproot starts to come into it is it helps the cryptocurrency, the origins of it continue, which is what it was meant to be, which is its own sovereign finance away from governments. So it's not the most exciting, but it is really useful. Gabriel, this will be I think the last comment before we wrap. In fact, I'm going to come to you in a moment. First, as we said, we have a glass jar now, thanks to Melanie. And I just want to say thank you once again, Melanie. So if you guys, thank you everyone for staying this long. We're going to finish off with Gabriel in a minute, but Jimmy's just Sawai's going to go around. And if you did get value from tonight, if you got any spare change, any notes, if you want to chuck them in, this will be going to CEAI charity, who look after disabled people within Playa del Carmen. They have a school just on the outskirts, and they currently can only pay for 3 out of 5 days. So I'm starting a fund to help them get back up to 5 days worth of teachers. So if you're able to give, then please do. It's much appreciated. Gabriel, we're coming to you, sir.
I just had a particular question in regards to that upgrade. It said, what happens, and this is for you, what happens when the internet shifts? What happens when Internet Computer Protocol, you know what ICP is? So what happens when the internet is chained?
It doesn't really matter because, I mean, look, you can send a Bitcoin. There's nothing private about a Bitcoin transaction, right? So you can put a Bitcoin transaction on a billboard. You can send it in a smoke signal. You can write it on a piece of paper and hand it to someone. You can yell it from the rooftops. There's nothing private about a Bitcoin transaction. So you could send Bitcoin. It doesn't really, I mean, it wouldn't work very well, but theoretically, you could send it over like CB radio or on any method for distributing data that could work, right? So an internet protocol change doesn't really make any difference. As long as there's a way for you to transmit data, that's all that Bitcoin is. It's cryptographic data. It gets distributed in a peer-to-peer fashion, so millions of computers around the world, or thousands of computers around the world. The only real impact of like the internet versus, say, CB radio is just it's not very efficient. Takes a long time for that information to get spread around, right? Whereas the internet happens in like a second. So not a big difference, really. You know, like if you're talking about that stuff, like more of an issue would be like some sort of internet censorship sort of stuff would be more of a concern than a change in protocol, because you're just sending data more or less. So yeah, I hope that answers.
Does that answer the question? Awesome. Anybody else want to put their 2 pence in on Taproot and BTC? But it's Benjamin, yeah? Yes. I remembered one name. Okay. Are we good? All right. I want to say thank you for everyone that has donated. We will work out how much this is, and we'll let you know. I'm going to be... Well, I'm trying to raise something else for them. So whatever's in here, I'm going to double this today as a show of thanks as well. Because we really want to... When it comes to taxis, me and my partner, we decided that wherever we live, come on guys, we're just wrapping up now. We said that wherever we live, we're going to make sure we just try and give something back to the local area because it's the absolute least we can do. And that's what we're trying to start now. And I'd love at some point to discuss that more, but not today. So I got last 2 things to talk about. This is a really weird one. You can shout. If you don't want to shout, you can stay quiet. But if you do smoke and you like smoking weed, say yeah. Okay, please don't smoke it here. That's all I ask, because last week every week we're here. We have socials and then we have these facilitated events. And I love the fact that everyone got so social last week that it would appear there was some marijuana in the house. And we all know that that's a gateway drug that leads straight to heroin. So please, just don't smoke it here. This is our home. Who's never been to Zitlasiba, this place before? Show me your hand. I want you all to know this is one of the most hospitable places we have had, and these servers work their ass off to try and serve the 120 odd of you here. So can we give them all a round of applause, please? And in order for them to continue having their job, they don't need the police in here because it stinks of ganj. So that's all I ask. If you're going to come back for our socials, smoke outside. Other than that, this place is Zitlasiba. It is a beautiful place. It's open most of the day, every day. They're really hospitable, these guys here. Since we've moved here, we've loved it. Have you all enjoyed yourselves tonight? Yeah? I hope so. I hope you've learned something. I hope you've realized that everybody has an opinion. And you're welcome. And I hope you realize that everyone's opinion's right. And all we need to do is share and talk. So my name's Chris. No, it's not. My name's Daniel.
Chris.
This is
Thanks
Chris.
for coming out, guys.
Thank you very much for coming out tonight. I hope you enjoy your night. Take care, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.